get after for 6 to 8 seconds. Guys, this is what we had to get. This ain't the one we want. You got that ball!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Laurel Leader Call Sports Show. I'm your host, Jack Fairchilds, joined alongside Kevan Lindsey and our good friend and yours, Josh Guru Nichols. Guys, last week was not as good as we were hoping for our local schools. In some cases it was downright awful. But we do still have one team standing, with Laurel still having this remarkable turnaround, and we'll talk about them when we get to the recaps of last week. But again, it's just one of those sad things to see so much hope wiped away in the first round for the other three teams. I'll start with you, Kevan, before we get to the recaps. Just, your thoughts on the three county schools ending their run in round one.
Yeah, it was very disappointing. I'll be honest, I'm not surprised with the Northeast Jones Old Brook, obviously. I'm surprised by the score. Obviously, we understand. I think me and Guru talked about it Friday night. I mean, it was 28-0 in the first quarter, and they didn't score till about midway through the first quarter, I think it was, Old Brook did.
Yeah, I think it was around the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, and then just all of a sudden, points just piled up for Old Brook, and they never let up. And obviously, Northeast Jones, we've talked about it all year. You can't, once they get behind, this offense just wasn't built to come back from that much of a deficit, even a 28-0 deficit. They just aren't built for it. So that one was probably the least surprising out of it. Still a great year. I still want to commend that defense for willing that team in the playoffs. I've got to give it to them. You look at our Dirty Dozen guys, Percy Taylor and Carson Lyons, those guys, they really did will those guys and that team into the playoffs. South at Wayne County, this is one that I picked Wayne County in that game, and they showed up, unlike their fans. They showed up. And, I'm calling you out, Wayne County fans. You tried to make excuses on my post last week, but y'all did not show up. And then Hancock at West Jones, I said it. This was not Deuce Knight that they were playing last year, but this was a quarterback that, Jack, you were there and saw it in front of, and in person, but this is a quarterback that could throw West Jones' defense off, and it seemed like it did. Obviously, I'm sure you can have more insight in it, but that was probably the one where I was stunned the most. And then Purvis at Laurel, man, Laurel just, they are heating up, man. They are heating up, and it is fun to see. And it was fun Friday night between the bricks being there and just seeing that team start to realize, hey, we are this good and we can be this good.
And we're going to recap these a little bit more because, of course, the only one that we didn't have anybody at was Northeast Jones. But Guru, what was your takeaway from the disappointment over last weekend?
Well, Jack, it was the first time in 21 years that all four teams in the Free State were in the playoffs at the same time. And we knew going in that more than likely Northeast was going to get bumped. But with the way the other three played out, there was some surprises there, especially that Hancock at West Jones game. I did not see that coming whatsoever. And then just what I'll get into here in a little bit, just the way that South looked at Wayne County. And to reiterate what Kevan said, I was shocked. I was at the game. I got there on the field about 5:45. And even coming into the parking lot, I told Alyssa, I was like, this isn't right. And she was like, what? I was like, normally, even if you get here this early, you got to fight to find a parking spot. I could have parked at the front entrance of the stadium if I wanted to.
It was just sad.
It's beyond that, and I would say it's actually more so pathetic, Jack. It's just.
I can't say I disagree.
And the backlash that Kevin got from a picture that I sent him that I took 10 minutes before kickoff, and it's a sparse amount of fans over there on the Wayne County side. I mean, it's something I had in 15 years of doing this. I have never seen anything like that, and I never expected to see anything like that. And, the Purvis Laurel game, the final score was actually a shocker to me, but overall, kudos to all of our 4 teams in Jones County, and they may not be, but I know all of us will be rooting on the Golden Tornadoes moving forward.
Absolutely. And let's get into a couple of the recaps here. We'll start off with Northeast Jones at Old Brook, because that's going to be the one we'll probably go through quick. I think Kevin already pretty much gave you a perfect recap, but it was shocking to see that defense give up that many points. Again, I don't know exactly what happened because we weren't there, but it just sounded like Old Brook came in and they ran into a freight train, and once the storm started, they couldn't really figure out a way to stop it. And we all knew, we talked about it last week, we expected that offense to struggle, but we thought that defense would help them keep it close. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And again, I want to say the same thing you guys said. This is a team that was really, really good, especially on the defensive side. There's still a lot of young players on that team. Northeast fans, don't give up hope on that program. That program is brighter days are ahead, and the fact that they were able to rally towards the end of the season and make the playoffs, that's something huge right there as well. Is there anything else, Kevin, you want to add, or did you already say all you have about that?
Yeah, I pretty much said what I thought. I hate it, like I said, for the kids, but still, like you said, this program I think is going in the right direction. Coach Milner's got these kids believing. There was a lot of close games this year, a lot of close games. I look back at the West Northeast Jones game. That was a close game this year. South and Northeast, I mean, they played some tough competition this year, and Old Brook is tough too.
And not only that, Kevin, but with Northeast Jones, I mean, that's the 5th consecutive year they made it to the playoffs. Now, they may have not had the success that they wanted to, or that we would like them to, but outside of West Jones, they have the second longest playoff streak going right now. And like you said, bright days are ahead with Brian Milner and the bunch out in the jungle.
Absolutely. Well, now we'll get in and we'll preview the Hancock or recap. Sorry. Wish we were still previewing a West Jones game, but we're recapping the Hancock at West Jones game, the game I covered. And the quarterback from Hancock, I was jokingly referring to him as Baby Tebow, because he was a run first quarterback. I mean, and it was clearly designed quarterback runs, but anytime West would try to step up and try to take that away, he could dump it off. I don't think he was an outstanding passer. He was an adequate passer. But he knew when the defense was going to cheat up to try to take away his running ability, and he was able to dump off a couple of throws. It was a very close game. One of the things that I do want to talk about is Coach Reynolds, after the game, said he didn't do a good enough job coaching, and I disagree with him on that. I think he did a fine job. I think they just ran into a team that gave them a style problem. It was a style problem. And this Hancock team is much better than their record. And that's something that you should definitely realize, because they were very tough. And what I saw out of them, I mean, defensively, they were tough, because West Jones has a dynamic offense, but defensively, they were really tough. So again, I think West Jones just unfortunately ran into a team that created matchup nightmares for them, and it just weren't able to find that spark offensively to get them back over the hump. And it was sad to see, because again, we've talked about this before. It's hard to cover these kids week after week, no matter, even if you're flopping out teams, you get attached to those players. I mean, as reporters, you get attached to players, you get attached to the coaches. So, I mean, when you see that type of heartache, because I really think they believed that they had a squad that could make a deep run. We all believed that they were going to make a deep run there in 6A. But unfortunately, that Hancock team just turned out to be a buzzsaw.
Well, and going a little bit further in depth to tell you how much their quarterback meant, he passed for 165 yards, rushed for 189 yards on the night. That's a total of 354. One guy.
Yeah.
As a team, Wes Jones had 375 yards.
Yeah.
20 yards difference.
Yeah.
One dude.
I mean, he was.
That is Tebow-esque.
He reminded me, just because of the style, not necessarily saying he's going to be the next Tim Tebow, mind you, but that's why I started on the sideline being like, they got to figure a way to stop baby Tebow, was my exact words. And it just, when they needed the big stop, I mean, it first and second down, it looked like, okay, maybe they're going to do. When they needed the big stop, though, it just wasn't there Friday night. And it was, like I said, it was just one of those games. I understand why a coach would feel like they didn't do enough, because he was able to do what he wanted for most of the night, talking about that quarterback. But again, sometimes that just happens, and all the game planning in the world, especially if you're running somebody that just is in the zone, it can be difficult. Kevin, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, the one thing I'll say too, and I think it really affected them, was their linebacking core. I heard one of their linebackers got hurt. Obviously, we know linebacker got hurt earlier this year. They're young in the secondary, and that puts a lot of pressure on your defensive line to make that stop. Heck, we see it in the NFL right now. I can tell you Green Bay is having trouble because their defensive line is good, but they're having trouble in the secondary and linebackers specifically to make the plays, and that's just inexperience. That's not pinning it on the guys who are out there. It's just whenever you lose two starting linebackers who have experience and you throw somebody out there with such a dynamic player on the opposite side of the field as that quarterback was, it's just hard to do that. It's hard to make those stops, and I think that's ultimately what bit them. The future's still bright at West Jones the same way it is at Northeast Jones. They're going to get one more year. Tootie, from what I understand, he's a junior moving on to a senior season. They'll get him.
Tootie and Watson.
Yeah, they've got some more playmakers. That's going to be interesting next year to see them grow. It's just unfortunate. I know West Jones fans are not happy because they've had 2 first-round exits in 2 years. But you have to look at what was on the other side of the field. Last year, you played edge of someone being a 5-star quarterback.
Well, somebody that's also this Saturday going to be playing against Mercer in an Auburn uniform. I mean, he's an SEC quarterback, starting or not starting, but playing as a true freshman. I mean, you don't get too many guys like that coming into Soso to play games.
Right. And then this year, obviously, this kid, I feel like next season he's going to be on somebody's radar. I mean, if you can run and somewhat throw, any JUCO school at the very least is going to be looking at you for that. And beating a team like West Jones probably put him on the radar, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, I'm sure it did.
So, yeah, that's just what I see. I hate that the big three really didn't show up like they probably thought they wanted to, but great at Hancock.
I do want to agree with you before we move on to our to the South Wayne game. When the linebacker got hurt in the game, West defense looked really good before he got hurt. After was when you started to see strides made. So I think you're 100% accurate in saying that made a major difference.
They didn't get too many possessions in the first half either, right? Hancock held on the ball a long time, from what I understood, just talking to the Super Talk guys, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a very ball controlled. When West scored, it was a quick score a lot of times, or a big play set up the score. Okay. Let's switch gears, because the final score truly shocked us as we were getting the updates of the South at Wayne County game from Guru. I know my reaction was shock. I'm sure that was Kevin's reaction at the Laurel game. Guru, tell us, where did it all go wrong for South?
This game kind of was a reversal of when South Jones played at Old Brook earlier in the year. Old Brook comes out, puts up 19 points right out of the gate, kind of like they did against Northeast Jones. Although South Jones battled back and outscored them from that point on 24-23. Well, we had a low-scoring first half. Nobody scored in the first quarter. South Jones gets a Carson Key field goal to go up 3-0. Then Wayne County scores right before the half to go up 7-3. Well, I mean, we got us a ball game. And then it's like I'm watching that first quarter of Old Brook all over again because Wayne County comes out, gets the opening kickoff, first play, boom, to the house. And I thought it was red and blue instead of orange and blue because it looked like one of the exacts because he busts through the line, hits the second tier, and once he gets through the backers, I mean he was to the house. Nobody could catch him, and they were able to put up 20 points there in the third quarter. And I mean, each time they scored, I'm over there on the south sidelines, of course, but each time they scored, you can see heads starting to droop. You can see the momentum just slowly just dissipating. And it was just that one quarter. I mean, that made all the difference in the game because if you take that quarter out of the picture, I mean, it's a 14-10 game. And I mean, which you can't do that. And you got to give your hats off to Wayne County for making some serious halftime adjustments because in the first half, they looked pedestrian at best going up against the Bullet Club defense. But, it's kind of like what happened in the Old Brook Northeast game where South's offense didn't spend as much time on the field as they did on the bench. So over time, all that does is wear your defense out when they're, your offense goes 3 and out and you just gave up a touchdown the last possession. Well, we come back and then we get a couple big runs and Old Brook Wayne County in the third quarter rushed for somewhere around 200 yards because they had a scoring run of 70 yards, a scoring run of 58 yards, and then they had one drive where they started at their own 18 and ended up, I think there was a couple of penalties in there, so it really wasn't a full 82-yard drive yardage-wise, but in my recollection, they never threw the ball in that possession. They ran it down the field the whole way. So those 3 scoring drives, were anywhere from 58 to 80 yards.
Wow. So the big play definitely killed them. It's frustrating because it's 2 years in a row that Wayne's got them. 2 years in a row where really, on paper, South had the better team, and they just couldn't figure it out. And it's just one of those things that's perplexing. And, I hope they can figure things out. They're going to be starting over next year with a new quarterback, correct?
Yep.
How many folks are they going to have back next year?
Well, that's one of the good things, offensively. They're key playmakers. The Jackson brothers are both eligible to be back. Anquan would be a senior. His younger brother, Squirrel, will be a sophomore. Squirrel got banged up earlier in the year, I think in either the third or fourth game, and was lost for the rest of the year. This past Friday night, he was at the game. He didn't have his knee brace anymore, so he seems to be healing well, and we'll probably see him out on the soccer pitch in the coming months, which is good for him. Glad to see him healthy again. I mean, overall, it's just going to be interesting to see who the quarterback is going to be honest. And they got the bulk of their offensive line returning, most of the key players on defense. The players should still be there, and a lot of the key ones from this year. Now, they did lose quite a few key seniors, but, what has been mind-boggling with South Jones this year is they start off 7-0. Mm-hmm. They're the hottest team in the county. They're one of the hottest teams talked about in South Mississippi. And then everything changed the night they go down to Summit.
Yeah.
And they play an 0-7 North Pike team, overlook them, and they get beat 21-5. And ever since that game, they have not been the same. No. Some of the players haven't been the same. The team overall was not the same because after that game, come in 7-0, and then they go 1-4 down the stretch, yeah. and they barely got into the playoffs, to be honest with you. And it's just, it was just a topsy-turvy year for them. And it was, it's quite the opposite of the local team we're about to talk about next.
It 100% is. Kevin was at this game. He was between the bricks. So, Kevin, tell us what you saw of now the hottest team in the county, the Laurel Golden Tornadoes.
Yeah, this was a fun game. I'll be honest with you. It seemed like the best way I can describe it is even the vibe before the game started, and the coaches are walking out. They're doing, the coach walk, and you got some players kind of coming out, just looking around. Man, they were so loose. They were just completely loose. And I say that from the top down, from coaching staff down. Fans were there. There was a good crowd there. The vibes were just, I don't know any other way to describe it. The vibes were just really good. And, man, they come out and just blitzed them. Their front seven for Laurel was just nasty the entire game. And after they win this game, and man, credit to Bivens too. Man, 5 touchdowns. His last, I believe it was second to last touchdown in the second half. He threw 4 touchdowns in the first half, but his last touchdown, they're driving down the field, and I could hear the coaching staff just talking to them. They're like, "Hey, just play it like it's 2 minutes to go. Let's drive down the field and let's see what they got." And that's what they did. They drove down the field, looked comfortable the entire way. Y'all saw the picture of Zachariah Jenkins catching that ball.
Yeah.
Double covered. Hey, I told y'all, I think I sent the text, that's why he's a D1 athlete. He just looked the part. And, just the entire game, they looked really good. Bivens was making good decisions. He would tuck the ball when he needed to and take off, even if it was just for a couple of yards. It's what we talked about early in the season that I wish he would do. Tuck the ball and just gain something instead of going back and rolling back and taking a sack.
Seems like it might have been kind of like his coming out party with the overall performance that he had.
He did throw 2 interceptions. Those were 2 kind of gimme balls, I feel like. They weren't badly thrown. I think one was just a little overthrown over the receiver. Maybe the receiver mistimed his jump. I feel like that's what that one was, and then he had one more. Those were just 50-50 balls. They were well ahead. You're just taking a chance. And I don't, if it was a tight game, if it was a 7-7 game, yeah. But, they're up ahead. Take the chance. Take the shot. And it was deep
trying to offer the kill shot.
Yeah, it was deep in Purpose's territory anyway when they were thrown. And
so no more than a punt.
Yeah, just take the shot. But yeah, after the game, Coach Ernest was really excited. Talked about, he said, if this defense isn't great, they're pretty freaking close, and that's just the truth. They are really, really close to being I'll say an elite defense. So yeah, just exciting between the bricks, man.
I think the final score definitely surprised us because we thought it was going to be a shootout. I think we all thought Laurel was going to win this game, but we thought it was going to be a close game. And I'll say this too, and you saw Laurel early before they got in the win column. This Laurel team, in several of those games early, Gulfport, Hattiesburg, if they had had a couple of things go their way, they could have won those games. I mean, they
the first game with Old Brook.
Yeah, I mean they've been, with the exception of I think it was Oak Grove, they've been in every game this year. And though early in the year, I think you guys remember me telling you all that there were a lot of drops. You'd see quarterback make a good pass, be dropped. You'd see several things like that it sounds like maybe they've gotten past, and what a great time to get past that. I think we'll move into our preview unless you want to add anything about the game, Guru, before we go on to the preview.
No, I just think expounding upon what you said, we just got to remind everybody, Laurel started out 0-6, and now they're sitting at 5-6, and they're 1 win away from going to South State, 2 wins away to making another trip back up to Starkville. And I mean, hats off to Coach Ernest, to that defense, Jenkins and Bivens on offense. I mean, we're pulling for you.
Now we got to talk about this is our only preview game this week, which is Laurel at Stone. Stone, of course, is the Region 4-5A champions. Tough team. I saw them play when they played against Northeast Jones. Northeast Jones had shots against this team. Laurel's going to have their hands full going on the road to face them, but I really and truly like their chances going in this game. Again, we're not picking it yet here, but we are discussing the different, we are going through what they're looking at. And Stone's no stranger to them. When I spoke to Coach Ernest earlier this week when we were talking about this matchup for the preview story and today's edition of Laurel Leader Call, Coach Ernest said, we used to be in the same region. We were in Region 4. We are very, very familiar with one another. And I think that's going to be part of what makes this a fun, marquee matchup. I think that the fact that the familiarity is going to take away a lot of that. I expect this to be a really tight, competitive game. Guru, you're actually going to cover this game. So give us a little bit more of what you're expecting out of this game.
Well, just pulling up Stone's schedule, it's kind of ironic. Their first game of the season, they played Hancock.
Wow.
Beat Hancock 31-13.
Wow.
I mean, we know the Laurel West game was 20-9. It wasn't a blowout or anything like that, but I mean, that's kind of sets up a little bit of intrigue there. They lost to Poplarville, St. Martin. They lost the 13-0 game to George County, who South Jones beat.
Yeah.
And who beat South Jones? Laurel. So, I mean, you can look at that in many different ways. But, yeah, like you said, this is one of those – this is what the playoffs is meant for. It should be a game like we thought we were going to get with Laurel and Purvis. I think we're going to get that game with Laurel and Stone County. I think this is going to be a back-and-forth game, and it's going to be a fun one to cover for sure.
Yeah, I think Kevin and I are both jealous that you're going to this one because, again, going to be an awesome matchup. And they're playing it there on the campus of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. They still don't have their own stadium. I think somebody told you that they were in the process of building one or something. So they may be finally moving away. But, again, that's an awesome facility no matter what. So, again, it should be a good time. Kevin, is there anything you want to add on this matchup, or you want to save it for pick time?
I'll say most of pick time. I will say, too, the defense. I forgot to mention it.
Kevin, I don't know what's happening with your mic.
I moved my mic. My bad. Sorry, we've had technical difficulties. Jack's camera shut off, and I had to figure out what was going on. I will say this, that last week against Purvis, Laurel should have had a shutout. Running clock, and Purvis goes down and rushes the field goal unit out to kick the ball and kick a field goal. And at this point, Laurel's players are mainly just celebrating. They did try to get hands on it, but yeah, it should have been a shutout. I don't know if it's a pride thing or what. Purvis just going out there trying to kick a field goal. Maybe the kicker was a senior. Maybe I will try to give him the benefit of the doubt. Otherwise, I think it was just a little weird.
Like sometimes you just don't want to get shut out, and you want to end at least on some positive.
I guess so. But yeah, Laurel at Stone. This will be a really good game, really competitive game. If Laurel comes out and plays the way that they can, and the way that they did against Purvis, they'll beat Stone. They will beat them.
I hope so, and it's not a spoiler because Kevin's not giving his pick till we get to it.
So, do you remember if number 18 was the kicker for Purvis?
I think he was
senior.
He was a senior.
Okay. Yeah, let the senior kick.
Well, we'll chalk it up to that.
Yeah. Well, now before we start getting into our picks, we're us being here in Mississippi. There's one topic that is captivating the entire state, making those of us that don't follow any of the teams involved a little bit tired of the situation, and that, of course, is the Lane Kiffin saga. Will he or won't he go? And if he goes, is he going to LSU? Is he going to Florida? We already know where Guru's hoping he's going. It's so interesting to watch because, again, Lane loves to troll. And he's clearly playing that role right now where he's not really giving a whole lot of information on what he might be doing. There are rumors that his family went to Gainesville, then they went to Baton Rouge. They're touring. There's rumors that Lane Kiffin spoke to Louisiana governor. There's rumors that, that he's been to LSU basketball. So again, we just want to find out what's happening. And of course, Ole Miss has this week off. Next week's the Egg Bowl. They'll be facing a Mississippi State team that has to win in order to be bowl eligible, which is all, and they're going to have all these distractions. That is a recipe for disaster. And I understand why Ole Miss would like to get a decision sooner rather than later so they can know what they're going to do. Before we go to Guru, because I know he's got all kinds of feelings since his team is one of the rumored destinations. Kevin, what do you make of this whole Lane Kiffin saga?
I'm already sick of hearing about it. I'm just glad it's not my team that's in the Lane Kiffin, Hugh Freeze sweepstakes and all this stuff like it was a couple years ago. Kiffin could shut all this down if he wanted to. He could shut all this down if he wanted to, but he's not. And I think that there is a person in Kiffin's ear who controls a lot of college football and a lot of professional athletes.
Jimmy Sexton. He is milking every bit of this.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. And a casual sports fan probably does not know who Jimmy Sexton is. But Sexton is pretty much, if you are a big name athlete, you are under his agentship. If you're a big time coach, you're under his agentship.
I mean, Steve Sarkisian at Texas, he's one of his agents.
I mean, it was Saxton who set up Lane Kiffin's interview yesterday on Pat McAfee, from what I'm told.
Like, Sexton is controlling all of this, and he's moving things around. I feel like that Kiffin should shut everything down, because I'm going to tell you, if this trickles in the next week, that is going to be on every space of wall and locker room Mississippi State has.
Yep.
And
I'm sure it already is.
Yeah. I mean that genuinely. And, they're going to be fighting for bowl eligibility. And I know we talked about how bad that Mississippi State has looked and all of that. But look, if this is still going on next week, it's going to be hard for me not to pick the Bulldogs in that one. But Kiffin needs to go ahead and figure out what he needs to do. I personally think that he should stay at Ole Miss. He could have a statue built of him if he gets this team to the semifinals or they get to the finals of the college football playoff. They have NIL money. They've proven they have NIL money to compete. But if I'm looking at the three places that he's rumored to go, it would be stay at Ole Miss, go to LSU, or then go to Florida. I personally, me and you talked about it. There's no way I would go to Gainesville. There's no way I would go right now. No, if I had to pick, I would go to LSU before I ever went to Florida. Really, a lot of places I would go to LSU. They've proven they've gotten the NIL money. They've proven they can win. But I think he should stay at Ole Miss, and that's just not being a Mississippi.
Before I go to Guru, I was sent something that Florida is reportedly set to meet with Tulane's John Summerall. So maybe Florida already feels like Kiffin's not going that direction.
Don't do it, Summerall. Don't do it.
He's not a Tulane fan. He's rooting for Summerall to go somewhere else
to the Plains.
Him or Dilly.
Guru, you're the LSU guy in the room. So first off, what do you think about the whole situation? Are you frustrated by it as a fan of one of the potential destinations, or are you just loving it because your team is really going to be playing the way they're going to be playing regardless of this drama surrounding Lane?
I'm going to go a different direction and say I am just frustrated about this crap in college football year in and year out. I don't think right now we should be talking about a sitting coach on the cup of making the college football playoff, leaving his team and going anywhere. And I think if the rumors that have circulated about his family being in Gainesville on Sunday, then in Baton Rouge on Monday, if all that's true, I mean, it's not the time of year for a sitting coach to be worrying about his next destination. I mean, that's, it's just like with the players. They shouldn't be worried about if they're going to stay at school X or go to school Y. All they should be focused on is the here and the now.
Yep.
And I don't know, guys, I've tried to think of a way, but we've watched this year after year after. I mean, look at James Franklin. I mean, he got fired 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now he's the new head coach at Virginia Tech. I mean,
but he won't coach a game till next season.
Exactly. And I understand you want to fill the vacancy and you want to get the best candidate as soon as you can get them, but as long as they're still employed, I don't think there should be any meddling in that. And I don't care if they're 10-1 and right there fixing to punch their ticket to the playoffs, or they're 6-5 and just trying to stay alive and get to the Liberty Bowl. I mean, as long as he's the current head coach, I don't think people should have the opportunity to approach him and talk to him. Outside of that, there were rumors coming out of Baton Rouge, and we always say they're rumors because we can't prove them. But in this day and age, the technology exists and the people have the power. And I'm not talking about millionaires, billionaires, your heavy boosters, donors. I'm talking about guys like us that can track flights and that they can see that flight 412 from Oxford left Sunday morning at 8:00 and landed in Gainesville 2 hours later. And that's where your speculation comes in, because what other reason is there for a private charter plane to leave Oxford, Mississippi and go to Gainesville? Right. We all know what the reason's for.
Yeah.
And then the same thing turns around and happens on Monday with a charter leaving Oxford and flying down to Baton Rouge. There was rumors floating and have still been going around, especially on the major LSU message boards. And I take those very lightly, but I have learned over the years there are a chosen few people on there that are actually in the know, that have been proven more times than not that with things that they post, they end up being 100% accurate. Yeah. It's been rumored that Lane's son, who's a current quarterback at Oxford High, is already enrolled in U High, which that's the high school that's on campus at LSU. They're currently 8-2 in the second round of the playoffs. They win, they're going to be playing in the semifinals. So, I mean, they're a 3A school. They're a decent program. I mean, he'd be right there on the same campus as his father if Lane were to go to LSU. According to other reports, his daughter Landry has already enrolled at LSU from the spring semester. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. But with Jack telling us that Florida is now looking to talk to Tulane Summerall, it kind of makes you think that some of this is true. Yeah. But I'm going to say all that to go back to one thing that I think has been overlooked and really isn't talked about. Kiffin could just be playing them, everybody.
We talked about that before the show.
And Ole Miss has already said whatever he's offered by Florida or by LSU, they're willing to match.
Yeah.
And this could be just a ploy by him to make sure they stick to their guns. Mm-hmm. And he's already, there was a report that came out on Monday that we all saw that said that Ole Miss had given him an ultimatum, which the next day came out and it wasn't true.
He denied it.
According to Kiffin. Yeah. But, we all know, the three of us and most of you out there that pay attention to this, that Ole Miss likely did tell him, hey, we want to know what's going on. Keep us in the loop. And when he was interviewed in a press conference earlier this week and asked if he was going to be the coach at Ole Miss next year and did not confirm or deny one way or the other, it just throws another monkey wrench into the whole situation. And, I would agree with Kevin on one thing. If it's down to LSU or Florida, hands down, you look at the last decade I mean, it's LSU 100%. I think going to Florida, it would be just like when he came to Ole Miss. It's almost a complete rebuild. I mean, I know they still have some good athletes over there, but they don't have the caliber roster that LSU currently has. And I'm not saying that as an LSU fan. I'm just stating facts. And wherever he goes, if he goes, I feel almost certain that Chambliss is going to go with him. It hit the transfer portal. He gets signed. He's going to get millions and millions of dollars in NIL money from whatever school. But, you know, we don't know what's in Lane's head.
No.
I mean, we do not know what his goal is in coaching at any level. I mean, for all we know, it might come out the Sunday after the Egg Bowl, and Lane's going to coach the New York freaking Giants.
That's what a buddy of mine wants. He wants to go.
Well, of course he would. I mean, I bet Jackson Dart does too.
Yeah.
But my point is, you know, to me, if Lane wants to legitimately compete year in and year out for a national championship, he is not going to do that in Oxford. If he's content with making the playoffs every couple of years, winning more Egg Bowls than he loses, if that's where he is content in his heart, then absolutely stay in Oxford, because it's going to be a pressure cooker going to LSU or even to Florida.
Yeah.
Much, much different than Ole Miss, because the expectations, while there's certain people that we know that are diehard Ole Miss fans that would argue with everything I just said, you're not a perennial contender to win the national title. You can be a perennial contender to get to the playoffs, but you don't have Ohio State money. You don't have Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Florida money. It's just the way it is. And at the end of the day, I mean, I want him 100% to be the next LSU coach, hands down. I think he's the best guy out there for the job. I wanted him when LSU hired Brian Kelly. I was very disappointed that they weren't able to land him then. And I think right now for Kiffin that he's kind of hit his peak at Ole Miss, especially if he beats Mississippi State and they go on and get in the playoffs, regardless if they make it to the semifinals or finals or what have you. If they beat State and get in the playoffs, they're going to host the first round game at the Vaught. And I mean, that's not nothing. But at the end of the day, right now, my guess is as good as Jack's. My guess is as good as Kevin's. The only person in the world that knows what Lane Kiffin's going to do is Lane Kiffin.
Amen. You know, and my biggest issue with this whole thing is if he takes any other job, he's not going to be coaching this team in the playoffs. He'll be leaving the guys that he helped create a special season for to go somewhere else. And yeah, the opportunity, but again, back to something you said about college football needs to put some regulations in place to where there's a hiring freeze. You can't hire any coach, can't have contact. Treat it like they do in pro. Cause I mean, you're basically pro now because you're paying the players. Let's do some contract protection, because again, that's the one thing that's lost in all of this that nobody's really talking about is how unfair this is to the kids on that team. The fact that they're sitting here watching this.
And the other coaches.
They're sitting here watching this and wondering, well, why isn't our magical season good enough for you? They're not thinking about extra money. They're not thinking about any of that. They want to feel like they matter. I mean, Kevin could be trolling everybody, and Ole Miss could be in on it. It could be one of those things where, hey, just string them along. We already got your check written, but string them along so they don't hire a new coach right now. Mm-hmm. It could be anything like that. We don't know, but it's an interesting scenario. I know you want them at LSU. To me, if somebody leaves a team like this, a special team that can make a run before the run is finished, I'd lose a lot of respect for them. You know, that's part of the reason I didn't like Brian Kelly, the way he left LSU. Before that, the way he came to Notre Dame, the way he left Cincinnati. I don't like coaches that you know, again, sell these kids on them and their program and then abandon ship before the season's even over. It just frustrates me.
I'll say two things. I was told Monday evening by someone who doesn't have ties directly to Ole Miss, but has ties to Mississippi State, was basically my inside source whenever the situation with Moorhead came up. I was the first one to break when Mississippi State was going to let Moorhead go. Whether he won or lost the Egg Bowl, I was told Moorhead was gone. And matter of fact, one of Mississippi State's faithful called me an idiot for breaking that news, and guess what? He ended up being gone. But I was told on Monday by that same source that Ole Miss was pissed to find that a private plane went to Baton Rouge and the family was down there, because the Advocate is who reported it. Very well established paper, very reliable paper.
And I'll tell you this to just vouch for what he said. The guys at the Advocate that cover LSU athletics, they're not a joke. They're in the know.
Yeah. Obviously, the Advocate was tipped off to it, and they break it. Ole Miss was pretty mad. And I've heard that ultimatum was true, that you let us know. True. And obviously, Kiffin's denying it. And obviously, he should, I guess, for PR purposes. But the second thing that what y'all mentioned that I think nobody's talking about, what happens if he takes this job to LSU? Because then your transfer window opens up. And we saw last year, wasn't it Penn State, their quarterback just decided, hey, I'm not doing it. He opted out.
Now, this year it's changed.
Okay.
The portal does not officially open until after the quarterfinals of the playoffs.
But they can still sit out.
I mean, you can opt to sit out, but, I mean...
What happens when Kiffin leaves and he says, hey, I'm taking Golding with me?
Yeah, or Chambliss, like you were saying.
And then you have, he's a local kid, and I hope he doesn't do it. I genuinely hope he doesn't do it.
I do.
What happens when Suntarine Perkins says, I'm sitting out?
Perkins on the LSU D next year?
Well, he's going to the NFL, but...
not so fast.
You don't think so? I think he's going to be a day one pick.
You talking about mine or Ole Miss?
Suntarine Perkins.
I'm talking about Harold at
LSU. No, Suntarine from Ole Miss. What happens when he says, you know what? Coach's staff's gone. I'm out too. I'm headed to the NFL, baby.
I think that kind of goes back to just, the your own personal mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What your relationship is with your teammates. Yeah. How much do they mean to you? I mean, because I think personally, and I think with conversations that I've had with Jack, and I feel the same way about Kevin, I think that any of us put in that situation, we're like, screw it, guys. Our head coach bailed on us. Yeah. Let's go kick some ass. Let's make a run in the playoffs and show him what he's missing out on. Yeah. I would hope that they would take that kind of mentality, rally around each other. But then again, we don't even know if there's going to be a change.
Yep. Right. We'll just, again, I'm sure next week's show we'll be talking more about what Lane did or didn't do, because this is an evolving story that, again, we'll continue to come back with. Of course, next week will be a lot of Egg Bowl hype, so we'll have a lot to talk about. Maybe even the fact that Ole Miss might be going in that game with an intern coach. We'll see. So again, as we get into our picks, we'll be starting off, as always, here in college. But before we get into it, let's talk about the Big Three, because Ole Miss, they played Florida last week. It was a tighter game than most people anticipated, but Florida's, despite their record, they've got talent on that team.
And they beat Texas this year.
So, I mean, it wasn't a gimme the way that some people had, and Ole Miss found a way to get it done, despite all the drama, playing a team that's rumored to be getting your coach. Then Mississippi State. I mean, Kevin, do you want to field anything on Mississippi State last week?
Just pathetic. Just pathetic. It's time. It's time.
KT.
It's time. It's KT time.
KT time.
Levy, stop being an idiot. Stop being an idiot,
He's
Levy.
about to run his own self out of start.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Put in KT and let that boy play.
Yeah. See what you got at least. I mean, come on.
You know what you got. He scores touchdowns when he's in the game. Put him in, because if not, he's going to hit the transfer portal. And if Chambliss don't go, and Lane goes to Baton Rouge, KT's going to be in Baton Rouge.
I'll take both of them.
Now, the other game, and this one shocked us because Southern Miss was at home playing a Texas State team with a losing record, not a good team. And sadly, we saw old school Southern Miss.
It's the Leader Call sports team jinx.
Well, it's also old school Southern Miss. As somebody who grew up at going to Southern Miss games, my parents met at Southern Miss, so I'm a rare person who grew up going to Southern Miss games because they were big fans.
When people actually went.
Yeah, and I'll get to that in a second too. But every year it seemed like USM would be red hot, and then they play some nothing team that they should just walk over, and they get beat by them. Well, this wasn't just getting beat by them. You got blasted at home. It was an embarrassment. But you want to go further? Y'all were talking about Wayne County and their sad crowd on Friday night. Southern Miss, y'all have a good team. Why the hell aren't y'all at the game? I mean, seriously. When I was a student there, the student section, regardless of where other people, whether there were empty spots in the stadium or not, the student section was always filled, and it ran over up into the upper deck because there were that many folks. They didn't even pack out the student section. And they had a team that was 7-2 going into last week. You've been saying you want a winner. Despite what happened against Texas, I want to keep saying North Texas, but it's Texas State. Despite what happened, you still have a good team. Is it frustrating that they pulled the typical Southern Miss to where they lost to a bad? Yeah. I mean, you go back to the year that they went 10-2, they lost, or it was 12-2, wasn't it, that year? Because championship game and then the bowl game. So yeah,
by the time everything was said and done, it was 12-2.
The two losses were the two worst teams on their schedule.
I was there for one of them.
I mean, it
was awful.
That's why I say that's a very Southern Miss thing to do. We were hoping that Coach Huff had broken that habit, but sadly it happened.
Well, we thought he had after they go to Ruston and lose earlier the year to La Tech, and then come back and they had the big win at Arkansas State, and then you're playing 2-7 Texas State and at home and get beat 41-14. Yep. What in the mustard buzzard is going on here?
Amen. Frustrating, without a doubt. Like I said, and was sad when they played at home again to end the season. Their fans will probably be even less than were there because they won't look at the record. They'll remember the last game. So some of those who actually bothered to show up, they won't even be there this time.
And that game will decide whether they make it to the conference championship or not.
Very, very it could have been wrapped up this coming weekend if they hadn't laid an egg against Texas State.
Well, and what's bad is in our picks, I saw that who they're playing. South Alabama owns Southern Miss.
They do.
Seems like in every sport, they just cannot get over South Alabama. I don't know. I tried watching some of the game, and it was pathetic. Like you said, the fans is what kills me, man. Yeah. I fully expect to be on Eagle Talk or Eagle Walk or whatever that Facebook group is that they have. Fans. There are some specific fans that gave me heck anytime I made any reference to Southern Miss in a negative way. Y'all don't show up. Y'all are the college version of Wayne County right now. Y'all just don't show up. And I don't want to hear that you need this and you need this and you need this. You have a coach that probably should be coaching the SEC soon, or at least one of the big group of four, is it now? Yeah. Whatever. He should be in a power conference.
Be, if nothing else, I mean, at one of the top ACC schools.
Right.
Probably after this year.
Right. You got a coach who's there. You got players who are there that are really, really good, and you just don't show up.
Yeah.
Does that equate to most recent Wayne County graduates or students at Southern Miss?
Bro, I don't know. I know a few of them that were on the staff there and in the athletic department. But man, I think that's the most egregious thing. I'm so sick of the victim mentality that Southern Miss fans have. that, oh, we don't show up and they don't do this, and there's an Ole Miss hoodie in the Belk in Hattiesburg. Like, who cares, brother?
Well, how about this? Show that you have a fan base, and guess what? It will disappear at the Belk in Hattiesburg.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's not Southern Miss apparel.
Yeah. There's a reason why you go to Hattiesburg and you see other teams, because they sell better than Southern Miss. I hate it. I wish that wasn't true,
He ain't wrong.
but it's a fact.
People even talk about the ticket prices.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing, is ticket prices. And I get it. It's expensive for anything for a family of four. I get it. You know what? Go eat before you get to the game.
Yeah.
And fill up little Timmy's stomach with some chips, some Lay's Ruffles. That way he's not asking for everything at the game. And the tickets aren't that much. You can get an upper deck ticket for probably $20. They might give it to you at this
Do you know
point
how
in the
much
thing.
I paid for 2 tickets to the LSU Ole Miss game?
How much?
Me and Alyssa could have gone to every Southern Miss home game, sat in prime seats, and ate whatever the hell we wanted to.
Well, you know, I'm going to the Pelicans game next week, and I mean, for 3 tickets, it's about $100 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that hard, because Southern's they're not that much.
Yeah.
And honestly, all joking, kidding aside, there's not a bad seat at the Rock.
No.
I mean, you could sit in the upper deck and you still have.
Yeah.
Hey, trust me, I've been to Starkville.
We were having trouble. I'm sorry. We're having video trouble. Kevan Lindsey is learning a new Canon camera, and just excuse this. Y'all go ahead. I'll get this taken care of.
But so, been to Oxford, been to Starkville. I mean, Baton Rouge, especially Baton Rouge. You sit in the upper deck in Baton Rouge, and players, they look about this tall. You go to the Rock and sit in the upper deck. I mean,
You can see the play arcs as they form.
exactly.
I mean,
and it's just sad. And like Kevin was saying, and not to beat a dead horse, but the ones that actually do go to the games and then come back and are also the ones that are whining and complaining and yada, yada, yada. We're not talking about you. We're talking about the dude and his family of 3 that have season tickets for the last 12 years, and they haven't gone to but 2 home games.
We're talking about the same people you're mad at on that game day. That's who we're talking about. And get thicker skin if you don't like us talking about it, because we're not going to stop. I mean, you've seen Kevin criticize Wayne County. You've seen us be tough on teams when they are letting us down. Now, one thing, maybe Texas State ensures that USM will be able to hold on to Huff for at least one more year. That we'll see. Hopefully they didn't get broken, like we saw Sal Jones get broken when they lost to a bad North Pike team.
Well, I mean, I will say, if he is able to take care of South Alabama and then Troy and then go back to the Sun Belt Championship game, and they're going to play James Madison, who's one of the top teams in the group of 5.
Legitimate shot at the playoffs.
Right. And if he were to win that and get them to, what would that be? A 10-win season?
Yeah. Yeah.
At least the ACC. I'm telling you, at least the ACC is going to come calling.
Well, let's get to our picks, because I know Kevin's getting a little frustrated with the cameras and
We're
everything.
back. We're okay.
So let's go into the picks so we can hurry up and Kevin doesn't have to keep running back and forth to fix the camera. Technology, folks, it is what it is. First game that we're picking, Pitt at Georgia Tech. Pitt's coming off of that blowout loss against Notre Dame. They were the home team then, got blown out at home by the Irish. Give me Georgia Tech. I'm going Ramblin' Wreck.
Ramblin' Wreck. You took it from me. Tech.
Yeah, this one's easy. Georgia Tech came back to win late. They've been one of the surprise teams of the year. Pitt coming off that tough loss. I mean, this is a game where both teams come in still with a chance to win the ACC. And, you win the ACC, you're in the playoffs. You could be 7-6, and if you win the ACC, you get a ticket to the playoff. Yeah. So this ain't nothing, but I'm with you guys, Ramblin' Wreck.
Next, we've got BYU at Cincy. This one's a little bit tougher pick because both these teams are outstanding. Both of these teams have shown moments of weakness as well, too. But I like old 47. I'm sticking with BYU. I know they're the road team. Won't shock me to be proven wrong on this one, but give me BYU.
I go back to the freshman quarterback playing on the road again, and it kind of makes me wonder. I know they lost to Texas Tech, and those road woes are hard, and it's hard to win when you're a freshman. But you know what? Give me Bayer. Give me 47 to take the win over Cincy.
Yeah, Cincy's looking to bounce back after a tough loss last week. And like you said, the last big matchup that Bear and the Cougars had on the road there in Lubbock against Texas Tech, you know, they got shellacked. They only put up 7 points. But I'm with you guys. I love me some 47, and I think this is a good bounce back for BYU, and because, you know, this one, a win here at Cincinnati, keeps them in the hunt for the Big 12 and then keeps them in the hunt for the playoffs.
Next, we've got USC at Oregon. This is a Big Ten matchup, as absurd as that sounds, but these are old school Pac-12 rivals that know each other pretty well. These programs used to play consistently. I think it's going to be a good game. I think USC is a decent team. Oregon has let us down a little bit this year. At some point during this season, both of you, I think, thought that they had earned the number 1 ranking at some point, but they weren't able to get it done against Indiana. I don't think they get it done this weekend. I think USC is going to take down the Ducks in their house. Give me the Trojans.
Hard to win in Eugene, baby. Hard to win. I still haven't given up on Dan Lanning and the Ducks. I still told y'all I'm holding with them. Give me the Ducks to beat the Trojans.
I think you're both right. USC has been a kind of a resurgent team this year. Oregon, while Kevin and I at an early part in the latter half of the first month of the season thought that they were a worthy number 1 team, well, Indiana proved that that wasn't true.
Indiana's the number 1 team,
and they ain't far from it. They got the Heisman winning quarterback, I'll tell you that. But it's Eugene, it's Autzen Stadium. It's, you know, they talk about Death Valley, the Death Valley in Baton Rouge, and how loud it can be. But with the way that stadium was structured, I think it's holds less than Mississippi State or Ole Miss, but it is one of the top 3 loudest stadiums in the country. I checked. It is an afternoon game. I mean, I don't know what they do for tailgating up in the Pacific Northwest, but I think that crowd and that atmosphere in that stadium is going to be enough to get Lanning and the Ducks the dub.
I'm gonna save the game you got next for the last game, since it's our only in-state game this week. Okay. So we're gonna go to Arkansas at Texas.
I'll tell you this: the only reason I put this game on here is because it's unique, because it's an old school Southwest Conference matchup, and with the way Arkansas has played some teams, the way Texas has played some teams, it's kind of an intriguing one.
It is intriguing, and it is an old school rivalry because these two teams used to play. Now, it's a newer rivalry to a lot of younger fans because they don't remember Texas and Arkansas ever playing. So does that translate to the fans that are going to be in the stands? Is that going to translate to the players? I don't think so yet. I think they've got to get reacquainted. An Arkansas win would go a long way to reuniting that as a rivalry. I don't see it happening this weekend, though. Give me Texas to get it done at home.
All right. Hook 'em horns, baby.
Ugh. Can't say those words.
All right.
No,
the last part.
HTH or HOH. HEH. I guess he could have done the WPS. No, Texas coming off that frustrating loss to Georgia. I think they're going to be refocused. I mean, I know it's a stretch, but I've seen crazier things happen in the final couple of weeks of a college football season. Texas, while they're currently ranked number 17 in the latest CFP poll, there is still a remote possibility with some crazy, crazy things happening. I mean, there's a lot of stars that got to align for the Lone Star State and their Texas Longhorns, but they could make the playoffs. So, I mean, this one and then the big one the following week against Texas A&M, I just think the Arch and the Horns will bounce back, and they'll dispatch of Arkansas fairly easy.
Next, we've got Tennessee at Florida. This used to be a huge rivalry, or they called it one. Florida pretty much dominated it if you really look at the more recent history. And that makes this matchup intriguing because Florida dominated even some years where Tennessee should have had the better team. So again, this is a tough one to pick. It's in the swamp too, guys. Tennessee has been a Jekyll and Hyde team all year. It's a tough one to pick, but I think the Vols get it done this time. I think Florida's going to keep it close. I think it's going to be a tight game. Give me the Volunteers in this one.
Yeah, Tennessee wins this one. I'm not going to go too much into it. I know Florida gave Ole Miss a game, but Tennessee, I don't care if it's in the swamp. Give me the Vols.
Yeah, I think that, for the most part, Florida's already kind of getting ready for next year. I mean, they're not going to make a bowl game. Their bowl game is going to be next week when they play rival Florida State. Tennessee, I think, is just too much offensively, and I'm like you. I don't care that it's in the swamp. I think a lot of their fans aren't going to be there like they normally would.
They're going to be watching the ESPN now for Kiffin.
Kiffin updates, yeah.
Give me the Vols.
Or that coach from Tulane.
No, bro, stop it.
Next, we've got Missouri at Oklahoma. Missouri's a team that we really, really were thinking might make a step this year, and they really haven't. I mean, they're a good team, but I just don't think they're going to go into Oklahoma and win. Give me the Sooners.
Sooners, baby. You did it. They couldn't keep getting away with it, Jack. And they didn't get away with it Saturday. With that, I'm the biggest Boomer Sooner fan. Go out there and beat the Missouri Tigers. Do your thing. Go Sooners.
This is one of those where you got an Oklahoma team riding a huge high after their win at Bryant-Denny, knocking off Alabama. And then on the other side, you have a Missouri team that has kind of fell short of their expectations, but they're coming off. I mean, yes, it was Mississippi State, but they're coming off a solid performance. Their running back rushed for 300 yards in the game.
Mississippi product, I should say.
Yep. And I think this will be a good game. I think it stays closer throughout because of the fact that I think Oklahoma will still be kind of coming in off that high, but I think when all the dust settles, the Sooners.
And finally, we go back to the one that we saved for last, USM at South Alabama. USM's had a terrible history no matter where they played South Alabama. I'm not sure if they've beat them yet in football. I'd have to go back and check that for sure, but they may be over against South Alabama. They looked absolutely terrible and pathetic last week against a
Tell us how you
team.
really feel.
Anybody that watches the game that says differently is kidding themselves. Just saying it. But
you ain't wrong.
I do think the new regime is used that performance, that embarrassing performance all week to get their kids motivated to travel to Mobile and finally get one over on South Alabama. I hope they don't burn me, but give me the Golden Eagles in this one.
Jack, you're right. Southern Miss is over 0-5 against.
That's what I thought.
Against South Alabama. They're going to be 0-6. They're going to go down there with their 12 fans, and they're going to lose.
You might be right. Here's the thing about Southern.
They're probably going to have more fans at Mobile than
Southern
they did
fans
at
travel
Hattiesburg.
better than they show up to Hattiesburg.
Yep. And I think we'll see.
Lose.
No. The Golden Herd, the Thundering Eagles, they're back. They're going to bury the Mustard Buzzards from last week. USM goes on the road. And in the series that transcends back 5 games, USM will be 1-5.
There you go.
Go Eagles.
There you have it. Plus USM's they should get their starting quarterback back this week too. Although quarterback play was the least of their problems last week. I'm done. Next, let's get into our high school games as we start off in the 1A playoffs. Taylorsville at 8-4 is traveling to Leake County 7-5. Taylorsville is one of those teams that's really, really they changed everything after that rough start. I think they continue to roll. Give me them Tartars.
Tartars, baby. It's Wintersville over there in Smith County. Look, credit to Coach AG, first-year coach, first-year head coach. He made the decision to make a change at quarterback, change some things around.
Been rolling.
And they've been rolling since. Give me the Tartars.
Yeah, I like the way this Taylorsville team has been playing. And just so everybody watching knows, every one of these games that we're going through, every team that wins these matchups will advance to the South State Championship game next week. And with that being said, Taylorsville will be one of the first to punch their ticket. Tartars.
Next, we're going to 2A, and we've got what was billed earlier this year as a marquee game of the week type game as Clarkdale travels to Heidelberg. Kevin, remind everyone, do you remember the final score of the Clarkdale Heidelberg game the first time they played?
I believe it was 60-7, if I remember right.
Bingo.
I think it's going to be very similar again. Give me Heidelberg.
Well, you know, Heidelberg had a close game last week, 56-0.
It was nail biter.
Yeah, it was a nail biter, and I think that I can't. Did y'all pick over 60? I picked 62.
Oh,
you got
it
the pad
written
here?
down, don't you?
We're going to the pad.
The final was what?
56-0.
Jack had 70. Kevin had 62.
For the final one.
All right, Siri.
And I had 65.
Oh, my Siri just started.
So Kevin got it, the 56.
Oh, go Kev.
Hit the
6
60
points
mark,
off.
though.
No.
Anyway,
I was eliminated. I went over.
no. Did you say your pick?
No, I haven't given my
Okay.
pick yet. We got sidebar. No, I did. I picked Heidelberg to win in similar fashion.
Heidelberg's they're gonna do the thing. I heard. I don't know how true it is. I just follow social media. I heard that Clarkdale, that a couple of players said they were saving something for Heidelberg, and apparently Heidelberg has found out about it. You better be saving something because you got your butts whooped by 50 last time. You better be saving something because you're going home this week, baby.
Yeah. It's.
Do we want to do another over under on
That we're fixing to. Clarkdale will not get the monkey off their back. Heidelberg will roll. I'm going to put down 54 for Heidelberg.
I'm going to go 66.
I'm gonna do 62.
There we go.
And next we've got another 2A matchup. East Marion at 7-4 travels to Mize at 6-6. Mize has just been finding a way, and I think they find a way again. Give me Mize in this one. They're the home team. I think they'll take care of business.
Man, I was kind of a toss up for this one for me, but you know what? I think Mize is going to do it. I think they're going to play the upset again. They faced the undefeated team, the Cobras, last week, and having that home field advantage, I think they might do it again.
And who was the only one last week that picked Mize?
You're right. You took the leap of faith.
It doesn't matter what I pick for Mize. Whatever I pick, the opposite's going to happen. So give me East Marion to keep so Mize stays in the playoffs.
Now we're going to our 3A playoffs as we've got Riley at 11-1. I tried to do that again. 11-1. Hey, it is the Mississippi High School playoffs. A one-win team could be in the second round. That's not unheard of. 11-1 Riley at undefeated 12-0 Union. This should be a fun game, but I think Riley is too tough for him. Give me Riley to win this one.
Yeah, Raleigh's only defeat this year was against 7A D'Iberville, who just failed in the playoffs against Petal 14.
And it was a season opener.
Yeah, and it was a season opener in that game. Union fans, their hearts are fixing to get broken. I know they've said Raleigh hasn't played anybody. You're fixing to find out what 48 minutes of Wing T football looks like because Higdon's going to put it on you.
Yeah, you can give me the Lions as well. I think that 12-0 record doesn't speak to the caliber of competition that they played. Way Riley played D'Iberville close, even though it was a season opener. taking their lone loss, but then have reeled off 11 straight. I'm still sticking with Raleigh all the way to Starkville.
Next, we're going to jump up to 6A as Pascagoula at 6-5 travels to 9-2 Hattiesburg. Easy. Hattiesburg's going to win this.
Another rivalry game.
Big rivalry game here. I got Hattiesburg in this one too. I'm sure their wide receiver, LSU commit. Oh, Tennessee commit.
That wasn't intentional.
Hey, he might flip if
He might
Kiffin,
flip
if
again.
Kiffin
I'm
comes.
sure he'll be playing this week. But no, in all seriousness, give me Lacey and the Hattiesburg Tigers.
Yeah, I think the Tigers have found their swag here at the back half of the season. I'm not going to be surprised when they come out of Class 6A and make the trip up to Starkville. They'll be too much for Pascagoula on Friday.
Next, we've got 2 7A matchups to talk about. First, 6-5 Brandon at 9-3 Oak Grove. And of course, some breaking news. There's Lane Kiffin is going to coach the Brandon Bulldogs.
Oh wow, huge news out of Brandon.
No, of course that's part of the fun of this whole Lane saga that we've been talking about. But Brandon's one of those teams. Everybody's high on them in the preseason with good reason. Then they had to fire their coach that they had that extravagant press conference for earlier in the year in midseason. And since they've been playing some pretty good football, but they're going to Oak Grove, who is battle tested. Give me the Warriors. I think Oak Grove protects their home field.
My buddy Blake he had a post yesterday about who's the best football coach in the state. And in 7A football, I nearly put Drew Causey. What Drew does at Oak Grove every year in a competitive area where you got Petal and everybody else in there vying, what he does there every year is really good. This is it for Brandon. Oak Grove is going to win this game, and they're going to go play what could be a really, really fun South State game next week.
Oh, that's going to happen. Yeah, give me Oak Grove. I'm not even expounding.
Next, we've got 8-4 Petal at 9-2 Gulfport. Petal, a little while ago, we thought were world beaters. They've lost a couple since then, and now they've got to go travel to a very, very good Gulfport team that has a running back that can control the tempo of the game, keep their offense off the field. I think that's what's going to happen. Give me the Admirals.
They played earlier in the year, right?
Yeah, I did.
We know what happened.
Petal won convincingly.
Yeah. No, well, they didn't win. It was 25-24.
That's right. It was close. I think it's revenge.
Yeah, but there's one X factor, and I think that Guru knows what I'm fixing to say. It's Marcus Boyles in the playoffs. Marcus Boyles don't lose very many games in the playoffs whenever state titles, in the horizon there. Give me the Panthers in this one.
Yeah, I think this one sets up nicely for Petal. I think regardless of the fact that it's on the road, it kind of eliminates some of those distractions at home with it being such a big playoff game. And once they announced that Oak Grove has beaten Brandon down there at Gulfport while the fourth quarter is still going on, that's going to propel the Panthers in this one, and we're getting an Oak Grove Petal rematch for South State.
Man, that'd be fun.
Would be fun. Now we go to 5A, and again, we didn't go in order because, we've got teams closer to us playing in 5A. So let's start with 4-7 Wayne County at 9-2 Old Brook. I'm not even going to waste any time. Old Brook's going to win big in this one.
Wait, if Wayne County fans won't show up right down the road, are y'all going to show up on the road whenever you travel to Old Brook? Wayne County can score the football, but Oak Grove is just too much. Old Brook is just too much in this one. Old Brook is gonna win this game and set up a fun South State championship game.
Yeah, this one, from what I've seen with both of these teams playing South Jones this year, this could just end up being a back and forth shootout. I mean, I could see a 46-43 final, but I do think two things are key in this. Number one, Old Brook's playing at home. Number two, I think overall they're more battle tested, and I think at the end of the day, it will be Old Brook advancing to play a very intriguing Class 5A South State Championship game.
And we are going to tell you who we think is going to be their opponent as we talk about Laurel at 5-6, traveling to Stone, who's at 8-3. We've already previewed this game. We've talked about how familiar these two teams are with one another. I think that familiarity definitely helps the hottest team in our area. Give me the Laurel Tornadoes. They're going to go to Perkinston and snatch that victory.
I'm not going to keep y'all waiting on this one. The hottest team in arguably the state right now is the Laurel Golden Tornadoes. They're going to drive down there. They're going to win that game. We're having a rematch with Laurel and Old Brook for the South State Championship. But I will say this. I will be rooting for Wayne County in that one because Laurel and Wayne County for South State. Oh, man, 2014 and 2015, those were some good old games, man. They were good old days. So,
and that would get us back between the bricks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, Laurel, but Wayne County, I'm rooting for you.
You know, Kevin asked me before we came on air why I had this shirt on. Well, number one, Jaden Daniels, Heisman winning quarterback for LSU, is looking to come back. But I wore it for the colors, and that was intentional because the Cardinal and Gold, the Golden Tornadoes, are going to Perk. They're going to beat Stone. And whoever gets in the way next is not stopping Laurel from going to Starkville.
And Coach Ernest, if you're watching, get us a helmet, and Kevin will wear it the entire next show.
I need a big helmet, though. I got a big head.
Get us a helmet. Kevin will wear it the entire show.
You do that. I'll wear it the entire show.
If you win.
If you win.
If
you lose, we're not putting on that.
Yep.
Oh, goodness, folks. A lot of fun this episode was. Before we get off, let's send a congratulations to the South Jones Band of Braves who won a Class A national championship. What was, Kevin, you covered the story. What was the competition the band was in up there?
I know they won overall. They also won Best Visual and, oh gosh, my brain's mush. They won three awards, but they won overall in Class A. There's different classes, and they got put in the Class A. So 105, over 100 bands there. I think it was like 105, 108, 21 different states. They finished 29th overall out of those teams. Good achievement.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's Bands of America competition up in Indianapolis. Yeah, I mean, you know, you compete against whoever they put you up against, even if it's just a classification national championship. That ain't nothing.
Absolutely. So congratulations to the Band of Braves. We've had fun coming to you guys this week, and we'll be back probably recording a little bit earlier because of everybody knows what's going on next week.
It's Turkey Day.
Exactly. There's going to be turkey, but we'll be here to talk about, hopefully, a couple of local teams in their South State championships. Hopefully, we'll be here to, say what Lane Kiffin decided to do and discuss the Egg Bowl. Kevin,
real quick, too, yeah. Taylor Swift has released some acoustics.
He has been muted as we were. Why do we let him do that?
You knew
it's just every week, I mean, goodness.
Hurry up and sign us off for your camera.
Well, guys, thank y'all so much for listening. I'm not going to acknowledge Kevin Lindsey, but for Josh Guru Nichols, we'll see you again next week.